We kick things off in some color panels in the middle of a dense forest. There are wild beasts lurking around, and then we meet our hero, Shinomiya Hokage, who will be referred to as Shino moving forward. Bro is a proper Giga Chad, as we can see that he already has a harem of babes who are ready to serve him. Of course, we can't jump forward in time so quickly, so it's time for a flashback in order to understand how Shino got here. We see him in class and learn that he is a third year in college, which means his female classmates are all old enough to be safe from Drake. He is currently preparing for his exams, and then he looks forward to participate in some survival games during his break. He has done loads of preparations for these games in the form of practice tours and research, because he wants to make sure he has understood the assignment. However, he still needs to get more experience if he is to achieve his dreams. We can see that our hero gets mocked in class as the other boys tease him about some shadow clone he does. He does not mind these antics because even though he is not too popular in class, he is disciplined enough to let it pass. Anyway, he goes to sleep in class and hopes for the summer break to begin soon. It looks like the angels have heard his wish, because the next thing you know, Shino wakes up in some island with nothing but his school bag. He has no idea where he is right now, and it feels like a dream, but he does think that this is real life. He checks his phone, but there is no phone line or Wi-Fi, so he can't even contact anyone. Shino does have a flare, but that is only to be used in extreme cases where he would require someone to rescue him. Bro uses his big brain energy and checks his handkerchief. It's still wet from him using it not too long ago for wiping his hands, so it's not like he was passed out for a long time. Basically, our hero may have fallen asleep in school, but he has been summoned to another world. He does not know how this has happened, but he is actually very excited because this is his chance to enjoy a survival life, regardless of whether it's a dream or reality. He has to control his emotions, though, because he needs to live through whatever is in this forest. Since the sun is still up, Shino decides to scout the area to get familiar with his surroundings. There are monkeys and chipmunks in the area, along with footprints that suggest wild boars. This is good news because Shino can hunt down the animals for food. He then comes across a river and assumes that the water is safe to drink. However, he can't take the risk, so he needs to use a filter. There are many techniques to do this, but Shino has to be quick, so he uses his water bottle, which can filter even muddy water. He has 3 such bottles with him because he is always prepared, and the water is tasty, so Bro does not have to worry about going thirsty. Being in nature is enhancing the experience for Shino, but he also needs to find a cave which he can make as his base. The food supply is also important, and Shino's first option is edible plants. He would prefer to have the sea nearby, but before our hero can think any further, he hears some other humans talking nearby. He goes to check what's going on, and then we see a curvy babe checking her smartphone. She is not getting any network, but Shino can see everything in HD. Naturally, he panics, and the girl also gets spooked. There are 3 other girls with her, and they think our hero is being a creep. At first, the girls think that they have come across a primitive man, but then they realize that it's just Shino. Our hero identifies this group as the fancy girls from his class, who are high in social status. They used to throw erasers at him, so they don't really like him a lot. The girls are led by Yuki Mana, who will always be surrounded by the squad. Then there is Futagawa Eri, who is neat, clean, and also popular with the otaku boys. She has even declared herself to be a sugar baby, but all the sugar seems to be in her pillows. Next up is Nimi Karen, who has been in the same class as Shino for 3 years. However, Bro does not know anything about her, and she even referred to him as a ninja just now. Finally, there's Nikotama Arisa, who used to work at a karaoke place before the senpai over there tried to get shady with her. She is also looking for a sugar daddy, but there isn't much scope for that in a forest. Our hero knows all of these things because he would silently observe and listen to their chatter during breaks, because that is a key skill to possess if you want to be a survival master. Now, the girls try to understand how Shino got transported here, and they are also wary of all the items he has with him. He simply says that he is an otaku for survival life, so it is normal for him to have such tools. Now, Yuki also refers to Shino as a ninja, and is optimistic that the other boys will also be here. However, there is no trace of these boys, so Nimi suggests working with Shino for now. The girls agree with this decision because Shino really is their best chance of survival. Now, Yuki tells Shino that he will be their partner, but this will only attract intrusive thoughts. With more people, Shino is confident that he will get more efficiency, but he also states that he will be going his own way, so the girls are free to follow him. The girls seem to be fine with this, but then Nico suggests that ninjas like Shino are supposed to be creeps like Diddy. Bro is shocked by these accusations, but Nico does make sense, because men of culture appreciate curvy babes. She wonders if Shino's elephant does not rise to the occasion, but he tells her not to worry about such things. He admits that he does have intrusive thoughts and desires, and his python will naturally extend if the situation arises. However, this is not the time or place for such things to be done, so the focus should be survival. He tells the girls that they should search for the sea, but before that, he will take them to the cave for shelter. Nico asks if Shino will write the SOS signal on the sand, so he tells her she is smarter than she lets on. While our hero is mainly interested in seaweed and the ocean, he also never thought that he would ever get to talk to these babes before. Nico asks if they are still somewhere in Japan, after which Eri assumes that it could be Hokkaido, as it's not that hot despite being summer. Nimi is not sure of that because if this were the case, then they should have been able to use their phones. Yuki feels that it's because they're amongst all the vegetation, but that is no reason for no signal, so she is called a fool. Yuki is getting teased, so she asks the girls to stop, but then Shino stops because he senses something. The girls look with intent as some creature seems to come out of the cave. It's actually a tiger, and it looks quite scary. The animal chills outside the cave, but the girls don't know why there is a tiger on this island. After all, such creatures are not found in Japan, and this prompts Shino to conclude that they are not in Japan at all. The phone signals should have been the main hint, but our hero has also seen boars and chipmunks here, so it's definitely not their native town. Yuki is confused now, but then Nimi suggests that they could be on Blackiston's line, as it does support chipmunks and boars. Even if that is the case, Shino says that the ecosystem of this place is quite weird. Yuki is losing her patience and she wants to know where they all are, so Shino comes up with a theory that is out of pocket. He believes that they are in a whole other world, and this renders all the babes speechless. Yuki scolds Shino, asking him if he is out of his mind, because such concepts are unheard of. Of course, she is not a regular viewer of comic guzzlers, so what does she know? Her loud voice alerts the tiger, so everyone tells Yuki to keep her mouth shut if she wants to live. Shino finds it even stranger that they got transported to this place straight from school, but since he has no evidence to back that they are in another world, he suggests leaving this particular area. The group takes off while the tiger has a nap, and then we see Eri drinking some water. The girls love the water's taste and are glad that Shino is so prepared. Nico is feeling awkward, because sharing a bottle with Shino would be like an indirect kiss. Bro puts her at ease by saying he has given her an unused bottle, and he doesn't touch the bottles with his lips anyway while drinking. Nico drinks the water happily now, and then she offers some to Yuki. However, she is feeling a bit low, because she is not sure if they will be able to come back home. Shino tries to keep her hopes up by saying that they could still be on Earth, as his theory has not been proven yet. The girls ask Shino if he can know where they are for sure, but he says they will need to get out of the forest and find a settlement to gain more clarity. Yuki tells our hero to find a way home, but even he does not know this place properly, so he can't just take a random decision like that. That's not the end of the road though, as Shino is a genius with a plan. He knows that they can still use their phone cameras, so he just needs to get on top of a tree and take some shots to understand the area. Nico laughs at this hilarious idea, because she can't climb trees like a monkey. Shino says that he can, which surprises her completely. The others are also amazed by this, and are certain now that he is a ninja. Anyway, Shino says that he will need to take some high-spec shots once he's on top of the tree, so Nimi offers her selfie stick to him. He does not know how to use it, so she gives him a quick tutorial like a curvy sensei. Now, our hero climbs the tree really fast, which makes all the girls look at him in awe. Everyone cheers him on, but they also call him a monkey, which isn't a nice thing to say. Bro is just relieved that the girls are smiling now, so he puts up the phone to take some shots. Shino is glad that modern tech is helping him out here, but there seems to be something else in the trees, as the girls rightly point out. Suddenly, a shady character appears and takes away Shino's selfie stick. It's actually a monkey, so this makes for a funny scene. Shino's face is full of embarrassment, because all the aura he was farming till now is gone. The girls mock him for losing to a monkey, but this is not the time to be doing such things. Suddenly, the monkey goes to Yuki, but that's only because it has intrusive thoughts of its own. As odd as it may be, the selfie stick comes back to Nimi, and then Yuki tells Shino that she has a special skill which allows her to be friends with animals. With pillows like those, any animal will want to be friends with Yuki, but then the monkey turns into Diddy, so Shino has to save her. However, in the process of trying to save Yuki, Bro ends up doing something unspeakable. Bro can't understand why his hands are feeling such soft texture, and it's almost as if he is being sucked into heaven. However, he soon realizes that he is now doing to Yuki what the monkey was doing mere seconds ago. Naturally, he gets slapped for it, and he does not mind the punishment. Yuki still seems to favor the monkey, so Shino just decides to take a look at the images. From what he can see, there are no settlements or any signs of deforestation anywhere, so it looks like the group is stuck here. There is some good news, though, as Shino has spotted the sea in the images. The girls gather around him and ask all kinds of questions regarding the sea. But then Nico notices something that looks like a nearby island. It's not very clear, so they may need to use a photo editing app to get the job done. Nimi gets to work, and after a bit of editing, the image does look like that of an island. Shino is impressed by Nimi's skills, and even Yuki is now a bit more confident in being able to go back home. Our hero is also hopeful of finding people on that island as long as they are not in another world. Nico is overjoyed because they now have a higher chance of being rescued, and then Shino uses the compass in his phone, which does not need any network. The team now makes its way to the sea, and they leave some crosses on the trees as landmarks. After all, when the phone shuts down, this will be all they can use. Yuki mentions that our hero brought all kinds of things with him, but not a compass, which makes him admit that he did get carried away with the compass on his phone. The girls laugh at him once more, but they should actually be grateful to him for being such a Chad. The journey continues, and suddenly, Eri goes up to Shino to ask him what's on his mind. He says that he wants to reclaim the cave, but that is not going to be easy when there is a tiger outside. Our hero does not have any knife skills, and he never expected to fight a tiger, so he is really at a disadvantage. He still states that he needs to find a way to repel predators, otherwise they will never be safe on the island. Eri panics a bit, but Shino seems to have a plan which may or may not work. Eri is still impressed, so she asks Shino to tell her his plan when he's ready. It's almost as if she is flirting with him, but that has to wait for a bit because now the team has come to the sea. It's a beautiful sight, and Shino is also glad that they made it here. While the girls play in the water, our hero notices shellfish, which means there has to be seaweed around as well. This may be fun for now, but Shino tells the girls they need to head back now because the sun is about to set. They are confused because they don't know where they're going to go. However, Shino says that they're going back to the cave, as he is going to fight the tiger. 2. As expected, the girls can't believe what our hero wants to do, and they worry if they too need to fight the beast. Shino says that the only way they are going to defeat a tiger is if they work together. Of course, brute force is not going to work against such an opponent, so Shino has devised another way to deal with it. He will explain his plan as they move, and then the shady monkey comes back to Yuki. She has already named it Rita, but its actions suggest that it is an ape of culture. There are other monkeys too, and oddly enough, Yuki seems to understand their language. She says that the monkeys are saying the tiger is still in front of the cave and there is no other wildlife around. Shino says that this is an amazing ability because it could be that Yuki is a tamer. All sorts of intrusive thoughts enter his head, so it's best for him to chill. Now, our hero tells the girls to move as slowly and quietly as they can, and then they find the tiger, which is still asleep. This does work in their favor, but the plan has to be executed properly, otherwise they will all get eaten like a full meal. Shino says they have no choice, because they won't be able to sleep in peace if they don't repel the tiger. Now, our hero gets his babes ready for the plan, and they seem to be eager to go. However, just as they make their move on the tiger, it wakes up and becomes alert. This is bad news for the squad, but Shino is ready for a fight. He tells his babes not to falter, otherwise the tiger will jump at them. But the beast has a fearful presence which is solidified by its roar. The girls are clearly scared, but Shino is ready to make his move. He lights up his flares and stuns the tiger with blinding lights. He then tells the girls to scream at their loudest voices, which they do without any hesitation. The tiger is still not giving in, so the squad turns up the volume and eventually they do well enough to scare it away. The tiger escapes, and the girls can't believe that the mission actually succeeded. Everyone celebrates, as they have now obtained the cave as their shelter point. The girls swarm around our hero, giving him Rizzed powers, but he tells them that this was a team effort. Now that they have scared the tiger, it will not bother them again, thus showing how humans can always prevail by using their big brain energy. Now, Shino decides to check out the cave, but then Nico's stomach starts growling. She is really hungry, and by the time Shino comes back, he can see that she is creating a fuss. He knows they need to eat, but they can't go fishing right now, as the sun is setting. He suggests mushrooms, which may not be a very filling option, but it's definitely better than nothing. Nimi says that there could be poisonous mushrooms too, but Shino knows which types are edible, so he will pick them out. Nimi then says that the girls can collect the twigs for lighting the fire, but Shino says he will need someone to come with him as he needs 5 portions. Fura offers to come along, and Shino has no issues with that. Nico is very excited to look for mushrooms as well, but she is told to be careful because even touching a poisonous mushroom could mean bad news. Now we see Shino and Eri searching for the edible mushrooms, and our hero finds one. They consider harvesting the whole lot, but then Shino realizes something very important. He is alone with a girl, which is not amongst his survival skills. The two of them consider the different ways to light up the twigs, but since they don't have much time right now, Shino offers to use his lighter tonight. After some time, they manage to gather enough mushrooms and decide to head back to the cave before the smoke from the flare goes out. Suddenly, Eri slips and falls into Shino, which leads to a very goofy position. Shino is embarrassed, so he gets up immediately, although Eri accidentally knocks him in the eggs. He needs to rest for a bit, so he looks away from Eri and tells her they should just relax for some time. However, Eri seems to have other plans on her mind. She asks our hero why he is looking away from her, so he says that his python awakened earlier when he was lost in her pillows. Eri then acts very alluring and tells Shino that he does not need to hide these things from her, as men of culture are united by intrusive thoughts. She then teases Shino by saying he may have tried to act cool earlier, but he must be holding in a lot of tension. Bro tells Eri not to tempt him any further, but he accidentally feels heaven once again. Bro is losing the plot, so he tells himself to calm down because he is a man of survival. Eri tells him not to let loose, but he says he didn't really do that on purpose. The curvy babe now strikes a pose and tells our hero that it would be better if he let loose, as he will need the post-nut clarity. She is able to make Bro give in to the dark side, because such sweet softness cannot be resisted. Eri is really going for it, and Shino stops fighting because there's only so much you can do in such a situation. Eri is actually a very practical girl because she knows the babes won't be able to survive without Shino, so if his elephant goes wild, then she will have to accept it. Our hero tells her that she does not need to do this, but she would rather not take any chances. She does not want Shino to lose control, so for now, she will use her tongue twister 9000 on him. She tells him not to hold back and to consider this as an act of gratitude. You can imagine what follows, as Eri gets a lot of elephant water to swallow. Now that they are done, Eri says they should head back before it gets too dark. Shino needs to know something, so he asks her if she does these things with her sugar daddies as well. Eri says that this is actually her first time doing anything with an elephant, as the whole sugar daddy vibe is just a show. She says that this was a special gift from her. But Shino says it felt as though she is a master of the tongue twister. He thanks her for the service because he could even take another one. However, Eri says one is enough for now, leading our hero to tell her he wasn't actually asking for it. Now, Eri tells Shino that this should be kept as a secret between them, to which he agrees. Bro is so happy that he is now ready to even give his life to protect the girls. But this could imply that he is getting dominated by Eri. Anyway, the both of them reach the cave and they notice that there are a lot more people now. It turns out that the boys of the class are also here, which is a bit of a party pooper scene. Shino is not pleased. But then Nico and Yuki notice that he is back with Eri. The leader of the bully boys is here, and he is surprised to see that Shino has managed to lead the girls to this point. He tells Shino that he thought the rescue party was here, and then he even mocks our hero for carrying flares. He then tells Shino that he doesn't mind including him into the group, but he shouldn't really be in a position to offer something that our hero has done. 3. The bully boy tells Shino that he would prefer more people if he wants to actually survive here, and it would be sad if our hero were left all alone. The girls are glad that there are other people they know on the island too, and Shino agrees with them. The problem, though, is that he doesn't know what these other boys have planned on the island. He asks the bully boy about his intentions, but he is not too thrilled to hear that. His name is revealed to be Byakuya, and he is about to answer back, but then his older brother tells him to chill. There is no point in fighting right now, so the elder brother apologizes for Baya's actions. His name is Sumireji Raito, and he has a word with Shino about survival on this island. We learn that Raito and Baya are the top students in academics as well as sports in school. On top of that, they come from a very wealthy family, so it's like having a cheat code. Raito is smart and charismatic, which makes him a popular choice for the girls. Baya is rude and wild, but even then, his popularity is at par with his brothers. Raito explains that their base is at the hill, and if they make a fire there, then they will be able to signal for help. Our hero is not sure if this is enough to bring a rescue chopper. But then Raito says that he has a special phone which does not need any network to send a signal to his parents. This would be a great help, but that only applies if this group is still on Earth and not somewhere else. Raito says that once he and Baya are rescued, they will come back with help for the others. However, none of this is going to work out if they are in another world. Now, a nerd boy shows up, and Raito orders him to keep his phone back in his bag. The nerd boy's name is Tanaka, who is an otaku boy, which makes him an easy target for bullying. Baya talks down to him again, which means bro is living a sad life. Raito now tells Shino that he might be good at surviving, but even he will not be able to make it through the forest on his own. This is why he should join Raito, but our hero strikes a pose and says that he will stay here. Both Raito and Baya can't believe what they are hearing, and they call Shino a fool for his decision. Raito asks if our hero really wants to do as he pleases in this cave, and when he confirms it, he simply turns his back and tells him to live his life as he sees fit. Baya now tells Yuki to come along, but the girls say that they would much rather stay with their aura farmer Shino. Our hero is just as shocked as Baya, who can't believe this. Yuki does not want to abandon Shino after everything he has done for her, and even the others join in to say the same thing. Raito asks them if they are in their right minds, but Yuki is smart to do this because now she knows the evil boys won't abandon them. If it was just Shino, then they wouldn't have cared, but now that curvy babes are involved, they won't disregard the group. Raito has a reputation to uphold of his family, so he tells the girls they are very kind to become insurance for Shino's life. He does tell them they can drop by if they change their minds, and then he walks off. Baya asks Raito if he is really fine with Shino stealing such amazing babes from them. But then the older brother also reveals his true colors. He says that Shino has not stolen anything from them, but it's just that the girls are on his side for now. Also, they seem to already have some girls at their camp, so Raito is not too worried about losing out temporarily. Baya agrees with his brother and says that he needs to release a shot, so they should hurry back to their camp. The girls hear this and are upset because these boys are being real creeps. Of course, they have no idea what Shino and Eri had been doing while looking for mushrooms either, so the couple will keep it at that for now. Nico brings up the time she was attacked by a Diddy senpai at her karaoke house, but Eri changes the topic by asking if the girls want to feast on some mushrooms. Nico finds it a bit shady that mushrooms are being brought up now, because they do resemble something. Nimi tells Nico to stop with her jokes, otherwise she is going to go to town on her pillows. Now, Yuki tells our hero that the girls have chosen to be with him, not Raito, so it's definitely a big flex for him. They don't want to regret their choice, but Bro is the main character, so there is no other right choice. On that note, Shino says it's time to grill some mushrooms, and the girls join in on the fun. They have a decent meal, but the taste is not so good, which makes Nico complain a lot. Shino says that he will cast a spell now to make the mushrooms taste better. And then he does something to everyone's food. As it turns out, the mushrooms do taste a lot better now, and everyone loves their meal now. Nico says that our hero can really use magic, but then Nimi recognizes the scent, so she says that Bro has used curry powder. Shino admits that he had this trick up his sleeve the whole time, but the taste disappears quickly, so Nico creates a fuss again. Shino says there's no need to worry because he has now found the ultimate cooking ingredient, salt. Since they know where the sea is now, they can get an unlimited amount of salt. Yuki and Nico are amazed that Shino can extract salt from the sea, but he says it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Of course, this should have been obvious, so Yuki and Nico are teased for being slow. Now, Shino arranges some books because he has to use them as pillows for sleeping. Nimi wonders if they can use bedding as well, so Shino says they can try to spread out leaves on the floor to make a mashiro. Anyway, it's time to go to sleep, but the girls need to clean themselves up. Bro doesn't want to unleash the beast within, so he tells them to go deeper into the cave where he won't be able to see or hear them. Yuki and Nico get spooked because they think that Shino might sniff certain items, and they call him a creep yet again. However, Bro says that they don't have a lot of resources, so they should reuse whatever they can. It may sound unhygienic, but that's all they can do for now. The girls go to change, and then Shino gets some much-needed sleep. It was a tough day, but the team has managed to pull through, so our hero has hope. We quickly move on to the next day, as the sun rises on Shino's face. However, when he wakes up, he notices that Nico is right on top of him. She is cuddling next to Shino, and when he asks her what she is doing, she talks in her sleep. Our hero tries to wake up Nico, but everyone else is also asleep, so nobody can help him. Shino has to act fast because if anyone sees them like this, then the Diddy accusations will never stop. He tries to break free, but this only causes his face to sink into heaven once again. Nico is still in her sleep, and she thinks she has caught a deer, so she holds our hero's head even closer. Shino is losing control, but he has to win this fight, so he manages to break free once more. However, Nikki really seems to be having some kind of odd dream, so she subtracts 1 from 70 and gets into position. Shino can't breathe, but a true man of culture would consider this an honorable death. The sensation from our hero's mouth does something to Nico's kitty, and causes her to wake up. She panics, and it's a funny scene all around for everyone except Shino. The other girls wake up, so Nico rushes to Yuki and accuses Shino of being on the Epstein list. The girls look at our hero with suspicion, but he tells them this was all a big misunderstanding. He explains that Nico was sleeping away from him on a pile of scattered books, whereas he has not even moved from his sleeping spot. This means that Nico had come over to his side while she was still half asleep. The girls understand now, and kudos to Shino for using his big brain energy to max level in order to save face. Eri asks Nico if Shino touched her anywhere, but she says sorry to him and says it was indeed just a big misunderstanding. Bro is glad he didn't get cooked here, and then Yuki asks Nico if she is fine now. She reveals that she was having a dream about catching a deer, and then the girls tease Shino for thinking he was going to get the treat of his lifetime. He tells them to stop with this nonsense, but it's all in good jest, so it looks like everyone is finally getting along properly. For now that the day has begun, Shino needs to figure out what the team will be doing today. He says that they will need to collect rocks, but he does not reveal what he wants to do with them. He says it's a surprise, so now he has the girls' attention. Mimi seems to have an idea, so she says that she will go collect some wood. Shino is impressed by her intellect, and then allocates tasks to the other girls as well. Eri is going to help Nimi with the wood, Yuki will search for provisions, and Nico has already decided that she will catch fishes. It's not that important, but Shino allows her to go ahead with that. Yuki says that she will rely on Rita for help with the provisions, but Shino still does not trust the shady monkey. He then makes fun of Nico, saying that she won't be able to catch many fishes. Eri asks Shino what he plans to do, but he says he actually has tons to plan. The first is that he will make earthenware, for which he will need clay and charcoal. The girls are amazed by how Shino's mind works because he is really going to become the MVP. He tells his harem babes that today they will learn what it is like to be in the Paleolith and Jaman period. He also tells the squad that they should only search up until the river, and if they come across any wild animals, then they should just run back to the cave. Everyone gets to work, and surprisingly enough, it's Nico who shows up first with the clay. Shino asks her if she's fine with dirtying her bag, to which she says she can just wash it in the river. Now, she wants to go fishing, and she notices a fishing rod with Shino, which he has just been able to make. Nico snatches the rod from our hero, throws the string into the water, despite our hero asking her to wait. Nothing is happening, so Nico asks why it's not like the game where you catch fish instantly. Shino is not too impressed, as he reveals that Nico still needs to attach the bait to the rod. He throws her an earthworm, but these things are scary to Nico. Shino asks her if she is going to give up, but she says that she will do it. Our hero continues making his earthenware, and Nico tells him that he's really enjoying it. He asks her to focus on fishing, but nothing is biting for now. Suddenly, the string moves, which means that she may have caught something. Nico celebrates, but there is no reel on the rod, so she will need to pull it up. This leads to a hilarious series of events that cause Nico to fall, and Shino to catch her by her thighs. Nico panics and tells Shino not to hold her like this, because it falls under diddler activities. However, Shino tells her to stop fooling around, because she can catch a cold if she gets wet in the river. They don't have any medicine to heal her for now, so Nico allows our hero to be in this shady position with her. Shino tries his best to bring Nico back up, but this only makes things freakier, and the curvy babe feels it. Eventually, Shino does save Nico, but they end in a pose that most dogs would be able to relate to. Nico is still holding on to the rod, because she wants to eat her catch no matter what. She asks our hero to help her out, so he turns on Chad mode and takes it from there. He tells Nico that they are going to pull up the rod slowly, and wait for when the catch is closer to them. On the count of 3, they pull up the rod, although it looks like Shino has lifted up Nico as well. Anyway, they end up catching a decently sized fish, which is great news for Nico. Our hero is actually impressed that his shabby rod was able to pull up a catch this big. And then his babe tells him that she has never seen this kind of fish before. She wonders if this is a new species, but Shino says it's an iguana. Nico is showing a lot more than just the fish, so Shino looks away, making it awkward for her. She accuses him of being creepy, but he does an Uno reverse by stating he should be the one saying that. Anyway, Nico is happy that she is not useless, as she has been able to catch a fish. She wants to eat it now while it's fresh, but Shino says they will have to wait till the others come back, and he also has to stuff the pot with charcoal. Nico thanks Shino for helping her catch the iguana, but he also thanks her for making sure they are going to have fish tonight. Now, as our hero continues working, Nico asks him about something when he got behind her. She says that she felt something poking at her, which was obviously Bro's elephant. They laugh over it, and Shino tells Nico to stop accusing him of Drake-level acts. She actually thinks it's fine for such instances to happen time and again, which leads Shino to once again state that he is the victim here. Either way, it should have been me, not him. We get even more jealous when Nico suggests going on a date when they get back to reality, if that is even possible for them. Shino is surprised that a girl like Nico would suggest something like that, but she is not joking, as she says that they should indeed go on a date when possible. With that, they promise each other this date and get back to joking around. Now, the other girls come back and are pleasantly surprised to see that Nico was able to catch a fish. She says that while Shino did help her, she was the one that lured it out and caught it. The pot is baking at the moment, and the other girls have also done their part. There are enough items now, but Yuki came back with some of the poisonous mushrooms as well. Eri asks him if he is going to toss the mushrooms away, but he says that he will use them as a talisman. Basically, if he hangs the mushrooms outside the cave, they will ward off any wild animals that might be nearby. After all, they are more sensitive to poison than humans, so Shino once again proves that he is the final boss of survival. The girls are impressed, and then Nimi asks our hero to take a look at her rocks. She has split them according to their size and type, which is a really good job. Shino asks her if she knows anything about rocks, but she says that she only did this because she assumed that he would do the same thing. Bro calls her smart, and Nimi looks away to act cool, but she is actually blushing because of the compliment. Our hero now admits that he has miscalculated things, because he did not think that his babes would work so hard. They are skillful as well, so this is a nice little bonus for him. Suddenly, Shino notices something suspicious near the bushes, but then the girls call him for the meal. It seems as though there is someone watching them, but our hero thinks it's just his imagination, so he goes on to enjoy the fish. The next day, we move to the afternoon, and Shino is asked what his plan of action is for today. He says that since they are making great progress, he wants to speed things up a bit by swapping roles. Nico wants to do more fishing, and Yuki wants to collect more provisions, so they are allowed to continue that. Eri is told to collect mud, and then Shino tells Nimi that he wishes to start manufacturing stones. She has understood the assignment now, and states that she will take over the earthenware job. She is a bit familiar with the Jaman period, so she just needs some pointers from Bro. Shino knows that Nimi has historical knowledge and is also quick on the uptake, so his life will become easier. Nimi tells Nico that she will go with her to the river, so she asks if she too wishes to fish. She says no quite bluntly, leading Shino to say that Nimi is a bit colder than the other girls. However, she did go a great job with the rocks, sorting them out efficiently, which means that she trusts our hero. With these rocks, he will now be able to make stone tools, and he wants to begin with something like a knife or an axe. Shino makes his plan and gets to work, because this is the job of Giga Chads. Bro becomes very intense, and soon enough, he has made an axe which will be a great tool for collecting materials. Eri shows up and asks if this is a stone axe, and Shino says that he is making stone tools like this one to make life smoother for them. Eri has Nico's bag with her, so she explains that she had borrowed it for collection. She will return it after washing it, and then she commends our hero for doing one amazing thing after another. He says that's not true because Eri was the one who gathered the wood for him. Nimi was the one who had picked the rocks, so this is proper teamwork and the right kind of equality. However, as Bro tries to be wholesome, he notices Eri's pillows, and then the demons awaken within him. He is flustered by her curvy body, and tries his best to control his shady intentions. However, Eri simply giggles at Shino because she can see that his elephant is standing in attention just from him looking at her. He says that it can't be helped because he is on comic guzzlers, and he also remembered the events of yesterday. This makes Eri a bit conscious, but she is not one to shy away from a challenge. She goes up to Shino and asks him if he would like her to do it again. Bro's eyes light up and he asks Eri if she is sure about this, but she laughs once again, meaning she was teasing him. Either way, our hero can't afford to be caught lacking right now because he has a job to do. Eri asks him if he doesn't want her to do shady things, and she has his attention again. He then catches a glance of her stockings, which is unfair because in these school uniforms, it's almost as if Bro is around constant cosplay. Eri decides to do it now because Shino has been doing a lot for the girls. She wants him to think of this as a reward, however. She realizes that her hands are covered in mud, so that won't be good for the python. There is no way at all that our hero is going to let this opportunity pass, so he asks Eri if there is another way. Eri says that she can use her tongue twister 9000 and this is all it takes for Shino to get his body and mind focused on completing this mission. He takes Eri into the cave, and we can only imagine what unspeakable things may have happened there. Bro is so energized now that he completes his tasks by the time the other girls come back. He has made a whole bunch of primitive weapons for them in so little time, which is almost flash-level speed. Eri also points out that Shino did a lot of work pretty quickly, and then Yuki says that it calls for a reward. Of course, reward means something very different to Shino and Eri, but then Nico reveals that she has caught a total of 5 fishes today. This means there will be one for each of them, and even the pot is done baking, so they will have some nice food now. Nico makes fun of Nimi for being scared of earthworms, but Shino reminds her that even she was terrified of them the first time. He doesn't care though because the group has a meal to enjoy. Our hero then reveals that he has also made some salt by boiling the seawater in a bento box. It's not much, but it will do for now. Now, Shino and the girls cook the fishes with salt, and as expected, they turn out to be much more delicious than the curry powder trick. Eri notices that the meat is a little bitter, but Shino says that's because of the minerals. He could filter it further to make it like table salt, but the girls say it's fine. Nimi says that this is an ideal environment, and Shino agrees with her. Yuki does not understand what they mean by this, so Nimi explains that the weather is perfect for them, as it isn't too hot or cold. The humidity is on point, they have access to a cave, a river, and the sea too, so they can't really ask for more. Eri states that Nimi is talking as if she is Shino himself, but she says that her knowledge is only limited to history, not survival. Now, our hero says that the temperature may be fine, but something very important is missing, and that's mosquitoes. The girls wonder if these insects are that important because all they need to do is whack them, but Shino explains that mosquitoes cause the most human deaths per year, even more than other humans. The statistics are quite scary, and then Shino states that he has not come across any scorpions, snakes, or other venomous creatures. So, in terms of survival, life is a lot easier without these creatures. The girls are relieved to hear this, and they ask what they should do tomorrow. Nimi would love to take a bath, and Eri agrees with her. Yuki asks if Shino can make a bathtub, and even Nico adds to the request. He is glad to see that the babes are adapting to the situation, so he tells them that if they set their minds on it, then they can make a bathtub within a week. However, he wants to focus on the other parts of their survival as well. The girls are curious, so he says that he wants to be prepared for bad weather with preserved food and better hygiene. This would mean creating things like soap, and the mere mention of it is enough for the girls to go crazy. Shino says they already have the ingredients for it, but they won't be able to make the soap and the bathtub at the same time. The girls have a discussion and decide that the soap is more important than the bathtub. So now, they state that they will focus on preserved food and soap, making Shino happy. Everyone is excited, but then a shady character appears after hearing their plans. Nico panics upon seeing her, so she strikes her fishing rod, but ends up attacking Shino instead. Our hero falls to the ground in front of this strange girl, and he gets quite the view. He quickly moves his head before more accusations come towards him, and then this girl asks the crew to let her in as well. She feels it will be more fun that way, but she does seem like the villain type. 6. We switch to colored panels for a bit, as this girl asks once again to be let into the group. The other babes recognize her as Isekai'd, but this is odd because she is not from their class. Shino is suspicious now because he believed the Sumeragi brothers got transported here with them due to them being in the same classroom at the time. Asa states that she is with someone, and we see this other girl, who is Isekai'd's little sister, Hina. She cutely bites her tongue, and we learn that Hina is a first-year student. Having a younger sister with her does make Asa a bit more trustworthy, and the girls call her little sister cute. Our hero now has a lot to think about, because even a student younger than them has been transported to this island. It makes him wonder exactly how many humans are over here. Asa now asks if the group will accept the two of them, but the girls look to their leader for his approval. Shino says that he does not mind more people as long as they are willing to help with the work. The sisters look at each other and say that they will definitely be useful to the group. They show their handicraft tools and state that they are part of the handicraft club in school. So they have neat skills. They have a lot of weaving tools, and they say that they were researching them in the club room when they suddenly got teleported here. Basically, they will be able to make simple clothes, which is once again good news for everyone. Asa explains that basic outfits only needed holes on each side, so it won't be tough for her to do it. Shino adds that these clothes were famous during the Yayoi period, but the girls are just relieved they can get new clothes. They want futons as well, but Asa says those will take some time. The group is relieved that they could speak with Asa normally because this is the first time they are talking to her. She says that she is usually a shy girl, but Hina is even shyer than her, so she needs to do her best to help her sister. Now, Nimi asks her to wait a minute, because she is surprised that these two have not met anyone ever since they woke up. After all, Raito and Baya should have been on their way, because they had set up a signal since yesterday. Asa explains that due to some issues, she and Hina had been watching Shino and his babes today. Our hero realizes that it must have been Asa he had sensed yesterday, so he asks her about that as well. Now, she reveals that when she and Hina woke up, they were inside a cave. They stayed there for a while and then they saw the signal, so they walked towards that. On the way, they bumped into some other people who were heading towards Raito's camp, and they stayed over there for one night. Hina seems to be getting spooked by this chat, so Shino asks Aya what happened. He thinks that the sisters had to run away, so Asa decides to give him a flashback story. We now see the events of that night where Asa and Hina are in the Sumereiji camp. Raito is taking care of the fire and is commanding his men, after which Baya goes to the girls to offer them some food. Asa goes to take the food, and she thanks Baya for his efforts, but then he sits next to her and says that everything will be all right. He says that a rescue team will come soon, but he starts acting creepy, so Asa avoids him. He then holds her face and says that they should get to know each other, and then she looks back to see how the girls are being treated by the boys in this camp. This is super shady activity, but Baya says that is how survival works in this world. He places his hand on Asa and tells her that he is guaranteeing her survival, so she should do something in return for him. Hina gets scared of Baya, and then he even says that he may not be interested in the younger sister, but he will still go for her once he is done with Asa. Baya is really pushing the line here, so Asa loses her patience and knocks his hand away. She tells him not to touch her and never to lay his pathetic hands on her sister. Baya says she should not be this way because he is the one keeping them protected. Asa decides to take Hina with her and says that she is leaving this group because she does not want such disgusting protection. Baya loses his patience, so he grabs Asa's hand and tries to have his way with her. Luckily, Raito steps in and tells the two of them to stop fighting because they must follow the rules. Baya tells his older brother it's because Asa wants to leave, so Raito tells her she has food and water over here. Help will come soon, so she should not be complaining, but she says that she isn't sure if everyone is following Raito out of their own free will. Raito notices the shady things happening behind him, and he's sure there are others who don't want to be here. He will not force Asa and Hina to stay here, so he says they can leave if they want. On that note, the sisters leave, but Baya tells his brother that he is being a bit too extra with the leniency. Raito says that rules need to be followed, so they should not bother about those who won't obey their rules. Baya agrees with him, but in his mind, he doesn't understand the need for rules in a place where there is no need for money or politics. Now, we are back to the present where the girls are disgusted by Baya and his methods. Asa is just glad that she and Hina could leave while they could, and Nimi says sorry for doubting them. Asa says she doubted this group at first as well, but after seeing how happy they are with each other, she knows she has come to the right place. She then thanks Shino for letting her and Hina in here, and he is surprised that she has already remembered his name. He still has something on his mind, and reveals that he needs to stop Baya while he still can. Asa says that Baya only listens to Raito, who is quite strong, so in that case, Shino wants to split them apart from the inside. The girls feel that a sibling quarrel would create issues for the whole camp, but Shino is thinking way ahead. Baya is seemingly stronger than Raito, so if he were to take over from his older brother, then things could get messy. The girls interrupt Bro's process, because they have to welcome Asa and Hina to the group. They are offered some food, but they only have mushrooms for now. The sisters are happy to have found the right people, but Shino knows that he will need to use his big brain energy even more now. He is aware that Baya would like to get his shady hands on his babes, and things will only get worse if he learns that our hero has increased his harem. Some serious preparations need to be made, and now we move to the next day at the sea. Shino is preparing for a dive, and Yuki also happens to show up. She woke up early and saw our hero leaving, so she decided to follow him here. Shino says he wanted to finish up before everyone wakes up, so Yuki asks him what he's doing for them now. He says he's actually doing this for himself as he likes diving. This is the first time Bro is alone with the babe leader, and she teases him by saying he should consider himself lucky for being alone with a babe like her. Shino laughs and says that Yuki really is beautiful, which makes her blush. She asks him if she can help out with whatever he is doing here, but she does not wish to participate in the game of elephants and kitties. She's just messing with him, but then Shino takes off his shirt to reveal his muscles. Yuki panics, but he says that if he doesn't take off his clothes, he won't be able to dive in the ocean. Of course, he does not frame his words well, so Yuki thinks he is having intrusive thoughts. She makes a funny face, and then Shino finally reveals that he is going to dive into the ocean to collect seaweed. He also tells Yuki to call the ape of culture to help her collect some seashells. Yuki is relieved now, but her face is red, so Shino asks her what's up. She scolds him because she is flustered, but this causes her to trip onto him, and the both of them fall onto the ground, which leads us to another flirty moment. 7. The two of them are a bit too close for comfort, and things are really tense for a while. Yuki is on top of our hero, so he eventually tells her to get off him before it becomes too hot for him to handle. He also says that she's a bit heavy for him, but that's only because of her pillows. Naturally, this makes her red with rage, and she scolds him again for being rude to her. Shino asks Yuki why she is so angry, but she is basically upset that Shino is not reacting excessively to her. He says that he is trying to keep himself calm, and he would really want her to get off him. Yuki now acts proud and says that Shino must be an innocent boy, so he should obviously feel this flustered. Instead, our hero tells Yuki that her ears have been red for a while, so she is the one who is flustered. Naturally, Yuki can't believe this because she is super popular and can get any guy she wants. Shino wants her to get off, but she pins him to the ground and says that he's kind of weak. He says this is only because she has mounted him and he does not want to hurt her. Now, Yuki has a shady smile on her face, so Shino asks her what she wants. She basically can't believe that an untouched boy like Shino is making fun of her, so she will now take his lips. Bro is so shocked that he genuinely can't move, and we can't believe that he's got so much unintentional rizz. Yuki basically wants to show that she has the edge when it comes to romantic stuff, and she quickly steals a kiss from our hero. She even celebrates it, but Shino is just surprised by her actions. However, Yuki thinks that he is lying because he is not too excited. Shino figures that he is not reacting too much because he has already been with Eri a couple of times. Yuki is upset that a boy like Shino is so calm with her, so she wants to have another go at it. No sane man will deny this, so the two of them have a soft tongue twister 300 session. They go at it for a while, and things are indeed quite shady between them. As a matter of fact, even Yuki is starting to feel a bit hot and heavy, while Shino is just trying to accept what has just happened. Suddenly, Yuki can feel something pressing against her. So Shino states that it's obviously his python. He still hasn't sealed the deal with Eri, so he's technically innocent even now. Now, Yuki says that boy get built-up tension, and since they have been here for 3 days, Shino must be going crazy. Of course, Shino can't tell her about Eri, so he just plays along with Yuki for now. Now, Yuki asks him why he is pretending to be so tough because it's fine to be a little embarrassed. She is a pro at this, so she wants to teach him a thing or two about pillow jobs. Shino asks her if she is sure about this, and she says that she will actually only use her hands for now. After another shady session, Bro is refreshed and tells Yuki he feels much better now. She is feeling a bit shy, but states that this was a piece of cake for her. Shino wanted to get back once everyone woke up, but because of this session, it will be noon by the time they get back. He has underwater goggles, which impresses Yuki, but he says that he had simply left them in his swimming bag. Now, Yuki tells our hero to keep this a secret between them, and he says yes, although he is already keeping a secret from her. After a bit of scouting around the sea, Shino comes back with a load of seaweed and seashells. The girls are glad to see this, and they reveal they were worried that Shino had vanished. He says that he had to get stuff for the soap, but then Nimi says she suspected something when Yuki and Shino were missing. Both of them blush because they know what they were up to, but Shino says that Yuki was with Rita, who is nicely cushioned between her pillows. Now, Asa and Hina show up to reveal what they have been working on, and we see that they have already made some futons. Nico sinks into one of them, but comments that they are a bit prickly. Asa says that she and Hina patched the sheets they were able to find, so it's not a real futon, but it's still a great help. Asa says that they will have one for each person here by nighttime, and Hina sweetly tells everyone to do their best. Nico has caught lots of fish, and Eri too has found some edible items. Shino says that if things continue at this pace, then they will be able to stock up nicely. Eri shows all the items she has brought, including meadow saffron, which Shino says is poisonous. Eri feels bad about this, but then our hero tells her that she has found something important. It's a cherimoya, which is known as the ice cream fruit of the forest. It's very rare to get one of these in Japan, and the word ice cream gets all the girls excited. The fruit seems ripe, so it's definitely edible, and it was a wise choice by Nimi to have wooden spoons ready for this. The cherimoya may not be like actual ice cream, but it is sweet and delicious, which is good enough for the girls. Shino says this is all thanks to Eri, and she figures she needs to remember where she picked this up from. Shino tells the girls not to eat the seeds or the shell, but Nico has already finished hers, so she might be cooked. As the girls enjoy their food, Shino analyzes their current state. There's enough food, water, and salt, so that's a good thing. He also has the stone tools, futons, and the ingredients for soap. If everything goes to plan, our hero will be able to build a house soon, which shocks all the other girls. They can't believe that such a thing is possible, but Nimi knows that it will be like a dugout. Nico would prefer a proper house, but Shino says that they are anyway getting more materials, and perhaps more people will also join them. With all this in mind, he is certain that he can make a dugout, and at this point, the girls think he can make anything. Nico says that it really was the right choice to tag along with Shino instead of Raito, and the others agree with her. Of course, there is a long way to go, but people are pumped, so they set out to do their afternoon assignments. After a long day at work, the girls come back to their futons and can finally relax. This does feel like a school trip with everyone pitching in, and our hero is just glad to have a nice, comfy futon. He has to focus on food preservation next, because if this world has 4 seasons, then the wintertime will arrive within 4 months. However, there are other things to worry about because in the night it starts to rain like crazy. There is tons of rain, and this is bad news, as our hero wakes up in the middle of the night. He rushes to the entrance of the cave and notices all the rain around him. The water seems to be flowing into the cave, which is also not good for anyone. 7.5. Before we move further, there is a bonus chapter where we see the girls throwing rocks on top of each other. Shino explains that this method is called Ishiu Chiryu, which is basically generating vibrations from the rocks to knock out the fish. The method does work, but it seems to be a banned technique in the modern era. Now we're back to the storm, which is getting worse by the minute. The water flow is bad, so Shino rushes back to the girls to wake them up. The girls are a bit confused at first, but the sound of thunder wakes them up properly. Shino says that the cave is starting to flood, leading Nico and Yuki to believe that they will drown. Shino says that it is dangerous to go out of the cave at night, so they need to go to the higher ground in the cave. Nimi says that they need to move their stuff as quickly as they can, but they don't know what to prioritize. Nico's cosmetics are all over the place, and her face says it all. She is losing her items, and even the futons are becoming wet, so it leads to a lot of panic between the girls. They feel all their effort is going to go to waste, and it only gets worse when the water douses out the fire too. Shino has to be the hero again, so he lights his phone's flash and tells the girls that they can get through this if they just deal with things calmly. The flood isn't happening that quickly, so they have plenty of time to retreat. They will first move the items with high priority, such as things that can be damaged by water and provisions. The items that can be used again even after getting wet will be looked at later. With that, the girls get to work and start with the food, because the futons can always be stuffed with more items later. Shino is glad that everyone has calmed down, and now he knows his harem will pull it off. The cave does get flooded, but the team members have managed to get most of the stuff away from the water. They are on higher ground, so there's no worry about flooding here. Shino tells everyone they have done a good job in an emergency situation, but the girls tell him they were lucky he noticed this right on time. Our hero is very dependable, and he says that they will look for a new shelter outside when dawn breaks. This space is a bit cramped, but the team should get as much rest as they can. All the girls seem to be asleep, but Shino is still awake as he realizes he has made a big mistake. He states that he should have made a canal in preparation for this kind of issue, but focused on the supplies instead. It was actually bad timing, but luckily, nothing bad happened. Shino knows he can't make that mistake again as he is the leader of the group, and all his babes' lives depend on him. Bro can't fall asleep with all the stress on his mind, but then someone holds on to his arm. Shino can't tell who it is because of the darkness, so he assumes that Nico could be sleepwalking again. However, he can hear Nico snoring from a distance, so this is someone else. Shino likes the warmth, so he holds this girl too. She seems to be moving now, and opens her mouth, after which she lands a few pecks on Shino's neck. Bro is absolutely shocked, especially when this mystery girl starts nibbling on his ears. He tells her to please chill because the others are sleeping right in front of them. Shino wonders if this girl is trying to make him feel better, or if she wants his attention. Whatever the reason might be, Shino is a man of culture, so he is not going to refuse. He actually welcomes this treatment, but the only problem is that he can't afford to have anyone else find out about it. The sound isn't enough to exceed the rain noise outside, so Shino goes for it and unleashes the tongue twister 300. He feels that this girl could be doing this because he can't see her, but it's not like he can hold back either. He goes for her pillows, but then he hears someone, so his heart almost stops beating. Luckily, it's just Nico talking in her sleep, so there's no need to worry. However, Shino notices that the girl is gone now. Even so, all the worries he had are flowing away, and he wonders if she is still there. He wants to know if there is something wrong, which is making her hesitate, but anyway, he is not feeling as stressed as he was a while back. Now, the day begins, and with sunlight, it appears as though the one comforting Shino was Nimi. She appears to be in a trance, so things are getting quite interesting. 9. Seeing Nimi like this makes Shino actually consider that she was the one who got with him. She did leave his side before anything serious happened, but Shino chose to stay awake and wait till the morning light came in. The rain has stopped now, which is good news for the girls, and Nimi says that she had worried it would keep going. Nimi does seem like her usual self, so it could be that Shino was just having a dream. Asa asks Shino if they should leave the cave as is, but he says there is too much water, so they will have to drain it all. In order to do this, they will need to let dry soil soak up the water, and then scoop it all out. Asa asks if there is any dry soil after a storm, but Shino says they can use natural sunlight and a bonfire to their advantage. Everyone is on cleaning duty for now, and they do manage to dry out the cave, although it does take them a lot of time. Shino says they are to go back to their normal tasks after lunch, so he tells Nico and Yuki to go ahead with the food supplies. He then asks Eri to make the soap, which will not be that difficult of a task. Asa and Hina are told to repair the futons, and Nimi is told to come with our hero because he is going to teach her how to hunt. Nico also wants to hunt, but Shino tells her that they are just setting up traps. Nico is still angry, so Bro tells her she will be able to catch more fish after a heavy downpour. Now, Shino and Nimi start observing the tracks of rabbits and boars in this forest. The first trap our hero makes is a falling rocks trap, which is quite simple and handy. Nimi takes notes as Shino explains animals feel safer following their own tracks, which is why he's keeping the traps close to them. Next up, he will be digging a pitfall for the wild boars, but it will take some time, so he and Nimi get to work. As the trap is being laid, Nimi finally gathers the courage to ask Shino about last night. Our hero realizes that it was indeed real and not a dream, and Nimi says sorry for surprising him like that. Shino says it's no problem, but Nimi wants him to talk some more. He does not know what exactly to say in such a situation, but then Nimi reveals that she was really scared for everyone. If it had continued raining, then they all could have lost their lives, but since everyone was so positive, she decided to play along with them. Shino now figures that he may have been able to trick the others, but the smart Nimi knew that everyone was in grave danger. It's odd because she is usually super chill, but even she must have emotions like the other girls. Shino apologizes for not preparing for storms in advance, but Nimi says they are all fine only because of him. She also says that she is glad he is here with her, which makes things a bit flirty. Shino knows that he gets to talk to Nimi often because she trusts in him. However, he does not know what led to the events of last night. Could have been his own intrusive thoughts, but then Nimi decides to confess. She reveals that the darkness got her thinking how she has only studied her whole life, and she wants to experience other things too. Basically, she does not want to live a short and sweet life without experiencing the joys of shady activities. She at first thought it would be impossible to do such things inside the cave, but since it was dark, she figured that no one else would notice them. However, lighting struck at the wrong time, so she retreated from her actions. Shino is just glad that Nimi is curious about such things, and is not in love with him. Such is the power of his Riz. Nimi is still feeling really shy, but Shino is happily setting the trap for his target. It takes him a while to make one pitfall, but he has been able to create a proper trap for a wild boar. The sun is still up, but Nimi asks Shino if they should check out the cave that Asa had mentioned. It's in the middle of their base and the evil base, so Shino figures they can scout the area. However, Nimi holds him from behind and says that they should pick up from where they left off inside the cave. She wants Bro to teach her the ways of men of culture, and this would be a dream come true for him, but he has to activate Chad mode. He apologizes to Nimi and says he can't, so she asks him if he does not want to do it with her. He says that is not the reason because he personally would love it, but he does not have any protection on him. The risk is way too high because he does not want Nimi to get pregnant and have a baby. He has no medical knowledge about these things, and there are wild beasts around too. He feels really bad about it, but Nimi is touched by his sincerity because he is still considering her safety here. She is lucky to have our hero by her side, so for now, she will just take some foreplay. The tongue twister 300 comes out, but this is enough to awaken Bro's raging bull. He slams Nimi to the ground, so she feels he is about to awaken the dark side, but actually, he is not trying to do anything shady with her. Shino brings out his knife because he can sense something is nearby. He figures there is still some distance between them, so he asks Nimi if she can make it back on her own. She says there are landmarks, so she should be fine, but she also wants to know what it was that our hero just heard. He says it's the sound of a tiger, so he is going to check it out. He tells Nimi he'll be careful, so she should just focus on getting back to the cave. She listens to her leader, and then Shino decides to follow the sounds. He runs up to the edge of a cliff, and then he notices the tiger right below him. The beast looks quite angry, so our hero wonders what could have caused this. Suddenly, someone shows up and calls the tiger Stripey-chan as if he is its Oni-chan. This person is revealed to be Baya, who has a whole gang of men and weapons with him. He tells the tiger that this is going to be his turf from now on, and this is definitely bad news for Shino. How is our hero going to deal with this mess? Is Baya on the lookout for more people to hunt down? Is this tiger going to be able to fight off so many boys at the same time? And where exactly is this island? We'd love to explore more of the story with you guys, but the video must come to an end for now. Like, share, and subscribe if you like this new story and the new characters. We're always looking for new stuff to keep the men of culture on Comic Guzzlers entertained. So please feel free to drop your suggestions in the comments below. As always, you know that if this video gets enough love, I'll add some more chapters too. Okay then, I'll see you in the next one.